Good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Dedicated to financial literacy. Yeah, it's about 2 a.m. You got to be dedicated to be doing this at 2 a.m. But I wanted to put something in. I wanted to get a video up before the market opened this morning. It is Wednesday. Wednesday morning, and so I wanted to get this up in time before the market open, and not wait until I get up. Okay. Real quickly, this shouldn't take long. I want to put a disclaimer out there. I don't tell people what to purchase, what to sell, what to buy. That's not why I'm here. I originally started this channel for friends and family on my church and my friends, and during the pandemic, and so we couldn't get together. So it wasn't my idea. It was a good friend of mine said, "Hey, why don't you put some of your knowledge on YouTube, and we could see the videos?" And I was like, "Wow, that's a great idea." And I only was going to do it during the pandemic, but I've been encouraged to keep it going, so I'm going to keep it going. Pray for me to stay consistent, and I have just so many things going on in my life, but that is no excuse. This is very important. The economy is important. The stock market is important to those that are invested in it, particularly I'm really concerned about those that have 401ks. I know we don't talk about it. We probably don't talk about it enough. The 401k, and those that are in financial investments that are fixed by way of your job, and you can't get out. You can't roll them over while you're employed. They usually require you have had to have left that position. So even if you're with the same company, they won't allow it most of the time. You have to actually exit the company. And then once you do that, then you could roll it over into an account where, like in a 401k IRA, there's actually a 401k IRA, or a rollover, I should say, a rollover IRA, where you can roll it over from a 401k from your job after you leave into an IRA. And it's particularly actually called, Fidelity has one. I actually did that several years ago. And what it'll enable you to do in that account, it's not under management. A 401k is managed by others, so there's management fees. When you roll it over into a 401k rollover IRA, that disappears. Okay? Now you have control to make your decisions. So you can pull out of the market, buy, sell. You can do that all your own. Your 401k, you're at the mercy of those managers that are managing your 401k. And so there was a fly that went into, well, never mind. And so you're at the mercy. So what ends up happening in a situation like now, what we have, where the market is correcting, people are saying crashing, but I'm just going to say correction right now. We have we're near, I guess we could say, near bear market territory, but it needs to be consistent. If the market is going up and down and up and down, once it starts going in that downtrend and it's consistent over a week, that's why we're watching this week so carefully. Once that happens, then we can actually say bear market. And I'm not saying a bear market yet, okay? But stay tuned, okay? But the market is trending down. So what will happen is you're just sitting there if you have your 401k. And I would advise everyone to check and take a look at your 401k. Everybody I know that has a 401k has lost. Now, some of the gains came back today. Well, Tuesday. Today is Wednesday, but yesterday, some of those gains came back. The market did make a rebound. Um, but depending on what type of portfolio and what type of stock package you had inside that 401k determines what happened to you today. Okay? So, but that's the thing about a 401k. When you have a crash, you just got to wait it out. You could go to your portfolio manager and ask them to make some adjustments. Like, say you want to switch over and say, hey, I have like 60% stocks and I got 40% bonds. You could switch it and say, hey, give me 70% bonds during this crash and reduce it 30% stocks. You can make maneuvers and strategies like that, but you're not coming out of that account, is what I'm saying, okay? All right, so let's get to what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to break this up into two videos. 5 stocks that I'm buying. You're like, what? Why would you buy? That's crazy. Let's address that first. A lot of what we saw on Friday, Monday, Friday and Monday was panic selling. Once a sell-off begins, it perpetuates more selling because a lot of people said, oh no. And depending on how much money you have in the stock market, now if your investment is not stock heavy, most people may feel a little bit comfortable with not touching their stocks. But I was talking to a friend. I get this. I was just talking to a friend about this last week, and she was telling me that she was really happy about because her portfolio was doing well. So far this year she was up about 30%, which was beating the S&P 500. I told her, you're beating the S&P 500 when you looked at her whole portfolio. But one thing I told her, I said, you know what? I don't give advice because I don't want people coming back saying, you told me to do this. So what I told her was, your stock heavy, your portfolio, you might want to get you some dry powder. You might want to get you some cash. I'm not saying just sell everything, but you might want to let go of some shares so that you can have more cash. She was stock heavy and cash less. And I just said, we're going to come into a correction at one point. And you've got all this, and she was overexposed. She was repeating some of her stocks. For example, she had an ETF that was full of the Magnificent Seven. It was filled with Magnificent Seven. Had some other sectors in there too, but so she had 2 ETFs, right? But then she had those very same stocks, individual stocks. You get what I'm saying? So in the ETF, because it's a basket of stocks, she had Meta, she had NVIDIA, she had Apple, she had Microsoft, she had Google, she had Netflix, and several others. So she had VOO and I believe VTI. Those are the ETFs she had. But then she had, outside of that, she had shares in Microsoft. And I said, look, you can look at another sector. We've gotten massive declines in the Russell 2000. I'm really keeping my eye on that. A lot of people forget about the Russell 2000, but I'm telling you, it's going to be money to be made in there. I'm watching it, but I said, you basically are repeating yourself. Why not take some of that money and put it somewhere else? Or just take some money out, leave some cash on the side, and be ready for that when that correction comes. Well, she called me today, or yesterday, I should say, after Monday's craziness, and she was just panic selling. And I said, "Don't sell now. You're gonna sell at losses." I said, you're still winning. You may have lost about 15% of your 30%, but." And what happened today? The market rebounded. So, I said, she's learning though. This is a great lesson for her. She's learning, do not panic sell. But you always want to leverage your portfolio, your investments. People say diversify, whatever you want to call it, but you want to not be so stock heavy where you don't have any cash. So when that market goes the other way and trends the other way, you're not caught with a bunch of losses and no money. Because remember, most people see the sell-off as a loss. I don't see sell-offs as a loss. I see sell-offs as discounts. Think of it this way. You wanted to go into the store. I use this analogy a lot. You wanted to go into the store to buy a brand new table or brand new furniture, a brand new TV, and it's at 700. Say that television it's a 55-inch Samsung and it's smart TV and it's $700. But then somebody told you, you know what? I think they're going to have a sale next week. They're going to have a sell-off. And that TV is going to be at $470 next week. Wouldn't it be smart to just, you know what? I'm going to be patient, hold this money, and just maybe, it could go up a little, but if there is a sell-off, because if there is a discount, if it goes on sale, I'm going to get that sale. So you hold the money. Next week, boom, they decide, Best Buy decides to drop the price. You go in, you buy that TV, instead of for $700, you bought it for $470. Now get this, here's what I want to give you. You still have about $230. You still have about $230 to go back into Best Buy and buy something else of value that you needed. Maybe you needed the music system to go with it. You got you got the little boom and your speakers. You get what I'm saying? Sell-offs is a time. Now, here's the thing. No, you don't know when that sell-off is going to end. It could be a week sell-off. It could be a month. It could be 3 months. You don't know that. But some people will try to wait till a bottom. You cannot guess the bottom. There is another principle. Don't try to guess the bottom. Once that thing drops 10, 15, 20%, pick up you some shares. And let me tell you, what goes down will come up. Reverse gravity. Whatever goes down is going to come up. The market's going to come up. Until it crashes, the economy crashes, and I don't know when that's going to be. But at the rate Biden and Harris are going, at the rate they're going, that could happen. So let me give you 5 stocks that I'm looking at. And I'm going to start from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then tomorrow, I'll give the other 5. How about that? Number 5, Shopify. Shopify right now is at about 53. I was looking though just a few minutes ago. It's up to 54. About 54.60 is Shopify. It has lost in the last month 19% from its previous high. 19% down. And it has good fundamentals. I'm not going to go into all the fundamentals. That's not what the kind of video this is. Do your homework. What do I always say? If you don't learn, you don't earn. If you don't learn, you don't earn, gang. All right. It's at about 54.60. It's definitely, I'm picking up some shares. Again, I'm not telling you to. Do your own research. Number 4, Nike. Nike's at $72.22. A lot of people forget about Nike because they're solid. They've been around for so long. You're not getting a lot of massive trend growth where but I'm telling you, it's a long-term stock. And you look at it in about a year and a half from now. If it's God's will, and our economy does not, I have to say that because of the deficit in the Federal Reserve and our government. And I'm not tossing around conspiracy theories. Some of the top economists saying, man, this bubble could burst any day with our financial situation as a country. So but if all things stay the same and our economy actually gets better, then Nike could be a great stock for you to pick up in the long run. So I'm picking up stocks there. Here's one that's gonna probably and you know what, this I don't know if they're in every single state, but you can still pick it up. It doesn't matter if it's in your state or not, but it's a restaurant chain, and it's Cheesecake Factory. It's ticker symbol CAKE. Now, I also want to make sure that I give you, okay, yeah, CAKE. That's the ticker symbol. Cheesecake Factory. It's at $36 right now. It's only lost in the last month or so about 7% off its previous high. So it hasn't experienced a great loss. But the great thing about Cheesecake Factory, it's actually has increased its revenue. And they are making money and they are profiting, even in the midst of an economy like we have. Because the economy right now, a lot of people are not going out because the restaurants and the fast foods and all these places are so expensive because of inflation the last few years. They have had to raise their prices. And in California, what our governor decided to do, he said, hey, I'm going to pay. And it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing that they're raising the minimum wage. Like if you work for McDonald's in California, you get a minimum of $20 an hour. Now, if you're in South Carolina, you might say, whoa. Or if you're in Missouri or if you're in Mississippi, you might say, wow, $20 an hour. I'm going to California. You don't know the cost of living here. The cost of living here is much greater. So $20 an hour may be great in another part of the country. But here, $20 an hour is still like poverty. I know you may not believe that. I'm telling you, that's how much things cost here. Let me give you an example. A two-bedroom apartment at about 600, 700, 800 square feet. It's going to cost you about $2,700 here. Yeah, can go up to $3,000 easily. $3,000 for a two-bedroom. Okay? All right, so anyway, we're not going to talk about that. That's another video. Number 2. So that was number 3. Number 2, NVIDIA. NVIDIA is at about 101. It closed today, or yesterday, I should say, 101.55. And I don't have to tell you and say anything about NVIDIA. But they went down about 20% during this sell-off, I believe. Do I have the numbers right for that? Nah. They definitely, everybody went down, okay? So, but NVIDIA, yeah, they took a little hit. And so I'm buy. It had actually went down to $92 on Friday and $92. I think that's where I got some. I'm picking up shares. NVIDIA, you guys, I'm telling you. Here's where they've been having a problem and gotten a sell-off. And I said this in the last video, and that is this. Wow, 20 minutes for this video? I gotta close. They're having a probe. The government's probing them for antitrust laws. Basically, are they monopolizing, and are they overcharging and doing anything scrupulous? I mean, they're taking advantage of their position. Let me tell you that right now. And they're taking advantage of it. And the competition is not happy. So we'll see. And then their new chip, I think I wrote it down. I'd been reading about this chip a couple of months ago. Yeah. It's called the Blackwell chip. Apparently, they have a version out, but the second version, they've been having some design problems. And when they say design problems, there's probably something not functioning right in that chip. Okay, there's something that's not functioning right. So, yeah. So NVIDIA's having a few issues, but they'll clear that up. They'll bounce back and they'll be fine. They'll be fine, okay? So NVIDIA is number 2. And last but not least, my favorite. All the haters do not like the stock. They don't like the company. The CEO is very interesting. Smart dude, though. Very smart man. I've watched several interviews with him. And that's one of the things I do with fundamentals. For those that are fundamental analyzing their stocks, meaning you look at the company, the health of the company, and you don't focus so much on the charts. Those that focus, and that's usually long-term investors, stock investors. Long-term investors usually are fundamental analysts. So that's what I do. I spend most of my time when I have time. Wait, where's my son? Where is he? Okay. So, studying the company, the leadership of the company, the growth of the company. Does the company have an advantage on the rest of the market? How much market cap does it have? How much profit? How much do they owe? How much debt do they have? How much cash flow is in the company? So there's so many things that you can look at when you're fundamentally analyzing a company. So here's the thing. The company, let me stop with the suspense. The name of the company is Palantir. Alex Karp is the CEO. Smart dude. And their earnings report just came out. It was wonderful. It was great. They're making money. I don't care what people say. They're profiting. That's what you want to go by. Is this company making money? And do you see them making money in the future? What's their future guidance? And their future guidance is gravy. Okay, I'm not going to go over all the numbers, but I probably will do just a separate video just on Palantir. Again, I'm not telling you what to do. Please, don't I'm going to get Palantir because Russell said it. I've never worked for Wall Street. Never worked for a hedge fund. I'm not a broker, not licensed. Just a brother that has studied the markets, and I love it. I think the markets have been fascinating, not just here, but the global markets. And so just the markets in general. And so, but those are my 5. I'm getting off the line now, or the video. I want to say thank you guys for viewing, watching, subscribe, hit that notify button. Give me a like if you like the content. I'll continue to pump it out for you. Okay? I love you. God bless you. Lord, I pray for everyone that their investments would be blessed and increase. And I ask you to give them wisdom on their decisions on what they do. And don't forget that gold and silver. You'll need it in the future. God bless you.